it's Lizzie.
Light 'em up, tell me where you are, tell me where you are. Summer nights, some bright lights and the shooting stars, they break my heart. I'm calling you now.
I've also just been doing a lot of traveling this month. I've been going to Malibu because one of my best friends is still at Pepperdine, so I've been going every week for the past month to visit her. I was there for our Bible lectures, which was so interesting because Bible lectures is Church of Christ.
I miss you every single day when I see you on those streets. The boy I love.
I remember last year being there and feeling like an imposter almost because I knew I would become Catholic at this time a year ago, and I was walking around at the COC event and I didn't want anyone to find out, but this time around I know it's public, so if people saw me I kind of assumed that they knew. The funniest thing though was at the end of one of the sessions someone said go in peace, and I was about to cross myself because it was like the same tone as at the end of mass when the priest is ending it, and I was like no. And also when I was heading over there I saw in my bag I had like 2 Catholic theology books and I had 2 rosaries in my bag, and I was like, oh no, I'm so Catholic, I need to cover this up. But it was really nice and almost healing for me going back to this event, just being able to still be a part of Church of Christ in a small way, because I love Church of Christ so much and they're so passionate about God and the Bible, and I wouldn't be who I am in my faith without Church of Christ. It was also really fun to see some of my friends graduate from Pepperdine. When I was a junior I was a campus ministry intern, so I was in charge of kind of like mentoring and helping out the freshmen. So that year just graduated from Pepperdine, and just seeing how all of their lives are going to play out and everyone's just being so successful, getting jobs, going to grad school or PhD or law school. It's just so exciting seeing how everyone's lives are turning out. I also went to a wedding recently. One of my friends who was in my Bible study when I was a junior and senior, she was a freshman and sophomore, so she just got married, and both her and her husband now are Christian and their family are really strong Christians as well. And so being at the wedding, it was so beautiful because they both took communion together, which isn't always the case at Protestant weddings, but they took communion together and we sung a Church of Christ song, all of us together, and they gave a mini sermon on how love is always an action, not a feeling. And just hearing the parents talk about how they were praying for the husband or wife of who they're marrying now, like years ago before they even knew who these people were, it just was so beautiful seeing a Christian wedding and knowing and trusting that these people are going to stay married for life and be the most amazing parents to their children in the future. I just love Christianity and how God strengthens things so much and makes things so whole.
What it will be like when I walk by your side.
Another update, I've gotten used to Marian devotion. We actually were praying the rosary at my church before my Bible study, and praying it as a group, they would read a Bible passage before each rosary. We did it on Wednesday, so we were doing the Ascension of Jesus, the start of the church, and the Assumption of Mary into heaven, and so they read these Bible verses about it. And as we were praying the rosary, I was experiencing the life of Jesus and the start of the church, and it felt so vivid and real doing it together as a group. And so that has really helped me get into the rosary more. One of my friends was in the hospital at ICU. I tweeted about this, and he's completely fine now, but at the time it sounded like he could die, and I was terrified. So I stayed up for an hour at night just praying, and I prayed the rosary as part of my prayers for that. And that's just something that I would not have gone to, like even a month ago. I wouldn't have been like, I need to pray intensely, I'm gonna pray the rosary, you know, like that would not have been something I would have chosen as a prayer. So I've just felt a lot closer to Mary and gotten more used to it and actually started to enjoy it, because before I saw Marian theology as kind of a necessary evil as part of Catholicism. Sorry to say it that way, I know that sounds super sacrilegious, but it was just really hard for me accepting the Marian dogma. So now it's gotten to a point where during mass, if I see the Mary statue, I feel so much comfort from it, and I talk to her sometimes. I don't know if that all makes sense, but I had a moment where I was with Trevor in March and we were reading this book, The Life of the Virgin by Maximus the Confessor, and that really helped me to understand her life more and just feel an emotional connection. And so that's when I started kind of falling in love with Mary, and so it's kind of just played out naturally where I've started thinking about her more and praying rosary more, and it's just been a really nice added aspect to my spirituality.
Death could not hold you, the veil tore before you, you silenced the bone.
I've also realized that I'm past the honeymoon phase of being Catholic. I started researching into Catholicism last February of 2017, and I would read for several hours every night theology and church father letters. I was so intense researching and so excited about it, and I would cry because I was so scared to leave Church of Christ, so scared about hurting my parents, and I would cry every time at Mass seeing the communion transform. It was just such an emotionally heightened time for me. And so now I'm at a point where I can go to Mass and I don't cry every single time, and it doesn't feel as intense emotionally. I kind of have to force myself to keep reading theology. It's not like I'm like thirsting for it all the time like how I used to be. So I've kind of gotten to a point where now I'm in like the normal love phase of a relationship with Catholicism. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But I just had an epiphany a few weeks ago where I'm like, I'm not infatuated with Catholicism anymore. And my medicine was making my mind a little numb. So that's part of the reason why I went off some of my meds, because I wanted to feel more in every part of my life. So since I'm bipolar, when I'm manic, I'm really intense about things. And when I'm in depression or detachment, I don't care as much. So I'll go up and down in how I feel about the church. But for now, I just feel like so comfortable in Catholicism and fully a part of it. And it just feels like my home, obviously. And it's no longer this newness and this extreme passion, but it's just the discipline and the comfort and the peace I get from it. Yeah, so that was all the stuff I want to talk about in this video. It's bittersweet because my family doesn't understand this and doesn't like this for me, and it's really affecting our relationship. But I know that years from now, hopefully it will get back to normal and be better, but it's gonna be really hard. And I knew that going into this, and it kind of just confirms that I'm doing this because it's true, not because it's what I wanted. I would never go into this if I wasn't so certain that it was true, because it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Is before me, I can only imagine